I was trending on Twitter.
I
don't know, bro. I don't know. Like,
What?
The time I'm the most like removed from social media, because I don't post really on stories. I don't really post on Instagram. I'm barely tweeting. Is when I'm randomly. I have these random spurts of trending for I don't know what.
What did you trend for?
So, the video of me
Anti-racist.
speaking up about racism during the BLM movements went like re-viral. It caught some traction, and I was getting canceled by white supremacists, I think, or people who or like follow that agenda for not being racist.
I said there's nothing more 2021 than a person of color, Candace Owens, calling out a white man for standing up for persons of color.
Oh, she's the one that came after you?
If you're white, if you look like me, use your privilege. And for those who do not think white privilege exists, you are blind. You are delusional, and you are part of the problem.
Okay, so in the first portion of this clip, he tells us that people shouldn't feign superiority because of the color of their skin. And then in the second part, he has just told me, a black person, that he is better than me. He is more privileged than me because of the color of his skin. And that if I don't buy into the idea of white privilege, meaning that white people are more privileged than me, then I'm an idiot.
From what I'm picking up so far, Logan Paul took some stances of the left, pretty much, and someone from the right, specifically Candace Owens, jumped on him and tried to get him up out of here, tried to get him canceled on Twitch, on Twitter. So I don't know what happened, man. I got to look into it. All right. And also, if you like this style of content, please do me a favor and hit the subscribe button, also the notification bell, so that you'll be notified whenever we put out new content.
Of her sentiment or thoughts on whether racism truly still exists or whether white people have it easier than people of color.
What did she say?
What
did she say?
I'm trying to find the tweet.
She'll
right now.
he'll find the tweet, but
it
it made me feel so disgusting, dude. Such a clear play for clout that involved a subject that should never be brought into clout plays. It was just
It was here. She tweeted, "Logan loves to challenge people in the boxing ring. I'd like to publicly challenge him to go a few rounds with me in a political debate. At Logan Paul, how about you stop by my show and explain to me how your checks notes more privileged than me because you're white and I'm not." And mind you, bro, this video is from like a year ago, and I'm not sure how it just caught any sort of traction, right? But I'm perplexed, to say the least. And I started to entertain this, actually. I ended up speaking with her, and there may be a future where we sit down and have a civil discourse, because I think there's some meat on this bone.
Let me see what that says. Logan loves to challenge people in the boxing ring. I'd love to publicly challenge him to go a few rounds with me in political debate. Logan Paul, how about you stop by my show and explain to me how you're more privileged than me because you're white and I'm not. Okay, so she checks notes. We missed the boat on Logan Paul going full Kendi. He states, you have to be anti-racist if you don't think white privilege exists. You are effing blind, okay? He suggests America is incapable of treating humans equally, and influencers should help reverse engineer the system. All right, cool. Now, y'all know how I feel about it. Now, I've been listening to a few people who've been giving me videos, and, Jordan Peterson. I've been checking out Jordan Peterson. I've been checking out Steven Crowder, Thomas Sowell, and those type of people. And they've been all on the side of white privilege does not exist. Although Jordan Peterson did say in one of his last videos I checked out that if you're a white male and you attend if you're white and you attend Princeton or Harvard, one of those, then you already have more than enough privilege working to your advantage. So I don't know exactly what that meant, but I believe that white privilege exists. I do. And that's even with all the information I get, and that's just from my own vantage point. And guess what? Your vantage point is yours, and I can't tell you what to see. Just like can't nobody look into my eyes and tell me what to see, because I've faced things as well, and the things that I see all point to privilege. But I do believe that they can have like a really really good conversation, and as y'all know, I'm starting to dive deeper into the minds and positions of those who I know think other than what I've always thought, or vote differently than I've always voted. Well, that's not necessarily the case, because some of the people who think differently than I think, we voted the same a couple of times on different things, because I don't always vote my interest. Sometimes when I do vote my interest, they go one way, but sometimes I vote for the interest of those who I believe need that extra support, if that makes any sense whatsoever. But all right, let's continue.
Debate, and I'm obviously for the most part, but I think part of my shtick is I'm able to educate myself, because as much as I joke about it, I do care about this, and I do have a semi-intelligent brain where I believe I'd be able to hold my own, and what I just want to be a conversation.
It is of her belief that these issues that many white people or many people claim people of color are up against do not exist. It's of her belief that we are at a point where we are equal in stature.
Oh, she believes that.
Yeah.
Which is,
and I'm sorry if that's not entirely correct, but that's the overall sentiment of her discussion, is that it is overstated that racism still exists in America and has such an adverse effect to people of color.
Now, when she says that, some of that is true, some of that is false, in my opinion. I'm only giving my opinion. Like, they can look at studies and all those things and say, well, a certain group of people are benefiting from affirmative action more than anyone, and it's showing in studies that it's affecting them negatively. Welfare is beneficial to a certain group of people, and it's showing in studies that it's far more is far less beneficial than it is. What I will say is this. I think it's borderline. I think it's extremely disrespectful, and this is just me. I think it's extremely disrespectful to not even allow a person who is in that group to be able to tell you what they believe, and you not respect that. Now, and I get it. We go through these conversations all the time, but the only reason why we're here is because a white man tried to stand with black people in agreement that white men do have a bit of privilege, and then a black woman is on the other side, and that's why it's kind of difficult for me to respond and review Candace Owens' content, because it's that's what makes it so polarizing. And I don't know if y'all saw my new video of black Republicans debating black liberals, and it was extremely healthy, the conversation, but it was very eye-opening, not only to me but to other people as well, because when do we really have the chance to sit around and watch 10, or was it 8 to 10 black young adults argue whether or not they are for or against Trump, and then half of the room are for him and half of the room are against, and like 2/3 of the room voted against him, and 1/3 voted for, and not even considering Trump. They just the amount of conservative values that were inside of that room were mind-boggling. So, saying all that to say this, keep the conversation going. try not to be offended so much, and we'll do a lot more. It'd be far more impactful as soon as y'all stop getting so offended, because everybody keeps saying that you want to be able to have the right to freedom of speech, but as soon as someone else says something, then you ready to attack their speech, and you want to blame the other side for it when it's actually you the entire time. That's my 2 pennies.
Racism still exists in America and has such an adverse effect to people of color.
You know what's sad to me is how people stir up emotions like this. You get what I'm saying? Like, you were trying to do a good thing, and for somebody to sit in a Hawkeye's view and be like, all right, I'm going to spin some issues with this. To me, it's like, isn't she supposed to be waking up every single day and causing, like, the world to turn in a good way? But why do you pick up...
For clout, for clout and views, George.
But
Here's
I get that, but that's just like, how could you sleep at night?
All
doing
of
stuff
this,
like that?
all of this just trends up and blends and creates conversation under it. Like when you go to the replies, of just that's all. And I've realized that this is representative of the majority of conversation that happens on the internet. Yeah. But like if you scroll down to the replies, they're all about how Logan didn't write it. He's reading off of checks notes. You see the checks notes thing?
I think that was her shtick, which is
annoying. I was with him when he wrote it.
No, but like,
I was with you when you wrote it.
No, I already clarified this. It's my first response under the thing. It's gone. No.
Did you respond?
I responded to my thing. I said, I wrote this on my laptop. I read it on my laptop. This is no different than your favorite news television show reading off a teleprompter.
So my question to you once again is, and it's the question that I found asking myself. Hold on a second. I just went into a hyper reality where I exist multiple times. I will be right back. The question I asked myself,
We'll be right back.
which is when do you ever respond? When do you ever respond?
Because Candace Owens, whether you can admit it or not, is a smart person.
Sure. She definitely is a smart person.
And so I guess I'm just curious because like I just fundamentally disagree with her, and I think there's a room for a conversation that could maybe lead to some people taking away something that could benefit progression.
I told you very specifically not to respond on Twitter, and I even almost did.
I shot her a DM instead.
It was good, but I just it's like. Is she smart? Yes, she's very smart.
Stupid smart.
That's the thing.
And articulate.
And so the question always comes down to what are these?
This is extremely different from anyone who like. This is not how you have an argument, guys. Yeah, I want a healthy discourse as well. But these guys are like, she's extremely smart. It's different. See, and I want to check out some Candace Owens. I just don't know where to start, be honest with you. And I'm a little afraid to check her out. But, hey, these guys, they don't understand why she came for them, why she came for Logan. But they still love her, and they don't mind showing love to her. But Candace Owens, I do want to say this, and hopefully, I know she's not going to see this, but a fan of hers might. He was just trying to do a good thing on another side than you. He see the lives of African Americans and their offenses. I mean the things that they've been offended by, and what type of heat they're under. He see that from a different scope. He don't see it as victimhood. He see it as, I need to stand with them and do something about this because this is ridiculous. And you have an opportunity. I don't know if y'all sat down already. I don't think y'all did because I didn't see the conversation. But you have an opportunity if you do ever sit down with him to instead of arguing your points, to try to find out what made him decide that he took and do what he did. You might learn something. I mean, they say you're already smart, but you're still learning every day, I'm sure. That's what smart people do, even accidentally, when we're not even trying to learn sometimes. And I even say we now because I don't even consider myself all that great deal of intelligence at all. I'm not very studious, don't have a degree, none of that. But something good can come from this.
That's the thing.
And articulate.
And so the question always comes down to, what are these very smart people utilizing their smarts for?
I know that's
Who
right.
is she Who is she working for?
That's the good
Who do you work
Who
for?
do you work for?
To me, and I'm not, and again, I'm not taking shots. This is just me looking at this situation. To me, it seems that you're more invested in trying to grow followers and clout than you are trying to change the world.
Absolutely.
In your way of bringing your people higher. If I had a Middle Eastern representing my people, and then I saw him doing some shit like this, I'd be like, my mans, we have so much shit to get going on.
That's her thing, and that's my issue with her whole shtick in general. Is I feel like she's unwiring progress.
That's the problem.
That's what I'm getting
that
at.
has
It's
been
like,
made.
yo, you just became an op.
Yeah.
You're not.
And you see how she kind of waited until...
And she did it on Twitter.
Yeah, but you see
You're
how
a
she
shitty op.
kind of waited. I'm not saying that she didn't. I don't know if she did, but how she kind of waited until this had blown over. Now, this is the problem with the push for equality and for people to have actual equal rights in this country, is that when the saturation of news stories and when the dire desperation around George Floyd and around all these things starts to die down, you see people start to push the goal line back. You see people start to say, maybe this isn't such a big problem. And all of a sudden, you start back right where you fucking started with George Floyd again. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because the urgency is reduced by this sort of conversation. That's why I almost am just like, why even entertain it, bro? Why even go and have it? It's like, I thoroughly believe that the oceans are...
I agree with him. Like, you know what type of pain came from certain topics and situations. Why even bring it back up? What's the point? You know what I mean? Why even bring it back up? Shout out to them for not even spelling her name right. They did it. I think they did that on purpose. I think they did that on purpose, man. Look, Candace Owens, and then in the hashtag too, hashtag Candace Owens. I mean, it still says the same thing, so I'm guessing that the title doesn't really matter that much. But yeah, I think they did it on purpose.
are not filled with water. They're filled with milk. Therefore, global warming does not exist. Do you want to debate me on it? Do you want to?
Yeah, I would.
You actually want to?
I would.
Or do you want to just say, yo, face, sit down.
Yeah.
Let the big boys work.
Okay. F-face, sit down, let the big boys work. Y'all let me know what y'all thought about that in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button, please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I am Van, and now we are all the LFR family. And I look forward to seeing y'all on the next video, hopefully inside of the Patreon as well. Y'all have been amazing. As always, god dang it, love y'all.